Hi, Tom Cole for It Matters in Toledo, and boy, it really matters a lot to me today. I've got two very interesting and wonderful people to chat with. Mr. John Gulch. John, how are you?
Very
good
good.
to
How are
see
you?
you. And Nick Gulch. Nick, wonderful to have you here. Guys, I was so thrilled to be able to get you on the show. John, I'll talk to you first, and Nick, I'll bring you in on this because you're the guy we're talking about. You know, when I saw what Nick's resume is at Whitmer, I mean, the things that he has accomplished are off the charts to me. 4 years of golf at Whitmer and the JVs, been #1, shoots in the high 40s. I've golfed my entire life, Nick, and I can't shoot 9 in the high 60s, okay? He announces for the baseball. He's got a letter in hockey for helping a hockey team. He cuts football packages for Whitmer TV, and I know the Whitmer TV program, I'm familiar with it. They do a great job and does highlights for them. Nick announces for baseball, I believe. Is that
Yes,
correct on the PA?
yes.
And John, well, let me throw this in, Nick, which is incredible to me, a 3.6 a cum. Is that right?
A little bit lower than that. Last semester was a 3.2.
Around 3 something?
Yes,
You know,
yes.
if you took all three of my brothers and myself together and added our cums, we're not in the threes. So, you know, what you've accomplished, Nick, is tremendous. And then, John, tell the folks, you know, Nick's done all this and had to deal with some, you know, very difficult things. What is Nick dealing with?
Right. Nicholas has muscular dystrophy, and it manifests almost as an autism type on the spectrum. So, you know, he has some cognitive issues, but the thing about Nicholas is I've never once heard him complain. He's just got the greatest attitude in the world, and even on the golf course, his hands freeze up. He just shakes his hands and no big deal. And he may have a bad shot or two, but he doesn't let it get him down, and then they're fine, and he goes back to playing golf. So he has overcome everything he's ever been thrown in life, and just keeps going with a huge smile on his face.
Nick, do you realize how, and maybe that's hard to do for a young person, how inspirational you are to people? Because, you know, people deal with issues, and a lot of times they just shut down. You know, they get a problem and they just go, I can't do this. And you've dealt with some very difficult things, and you never shut down. You just find ways to overcome. Do you understand how inspirational you are to people?
Yeah, it's pretty nice that people, even though when I'm at school, people say, I seen you on the broadcast.
Yes.
It makes me feel like, wow, they really watch me do what I do for what I want to do when I get out of Whitmer, and they see what I'm doing right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, and you have a tremendous skill set. You're able to do all these things. You're able to maintain these great grades. Are there times where you sometimes feel overwhelmed that you've got all these, you know, all these things going on?
Not all the time, just half of it time, but not like, it doesn't really overwhelm me as much as I thought it would.
Yeah, and you really enjoy what, I know you like everything that you do, Nick, and you're really good at it. But what are maybe one or two of the things that you do that are the most enjoyable to you? I mean, if you could pick one or two, say, boy, this is what I really like. What would that, this is what I really like be?
Probably a broadcaster for WTMR.
Okay.
And also helping out with like hockey and golf, and try to also help out with the baseball team.
Yeah, and you know, you're a guy that gives back constantly. Where does that come? I know you have great parents, and you know they have been incredibly supportive to you, and I know that means everything. And like the Whitmer community has been incredibly supportive. But where does that feeling of giving back come from, Nick?
My favorite football player, Tim Tebow.
Oh wow.
Because I've seen what he does with kids that almost are about to die. He goes and sees them. That's who I got my giving back to from, because he's just such a nice guy. So that's how I kind of got into giving back.
Nick, you couldn't have picked a better, he's one of my all-time favorites. He should be playing, he should be a starting quarterback in the NFL, by the way. He throws the ball plenty good enough to, and he's a leader, he's a winner. I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm a huge Tim Tebow fan, just for what you expressed, Nick. He's playing Double-A for the Mets. So and you guys may have seen this. He's in the on-deck circle, getting ready to hit. And every game that he plays in Double-A, like the Mud Hens kind of deal, every game he plays is basically sold out, home and on the road, because he's there. That's it. Period. End of story. So he's in the on-deck circle, Nick, and a little boy is yelling to get his attention. This is in the middle of the game. And the little boy, I think, was autistic, I do believe. And all the other players during the game had ignored the youngster when because he yelled at a lot of the players. And he wanted somebody to come up to him. And he's hanging over the rail. So Tim Tebow comes out of the on-deck circle, starts to walk the home plate. He sees the young man reaching out to him. He walks over to the young man, talks to him, puts his arm around the young man, and the little guy just goes crazy. He loses it. After Tim gets done talking to him, and he spent a few minutes with him. I mean, it wasn't like just a hi and bye. The little guy's running up and down the stands, and he's shaking his hands, and he's just thrilled. Then Tebow goes to the plate, and he hits a home run. Well, he hit the home run to me before he actually hit the home run, but you've picked a great role model because he's that kind of guy, and it's extremely cool. John, you and your wonderful wife, are you shocked at what Nick has been able to accomplish? I mean, it has to take you aback a little bit and say, my gosh, what can't this young man do?
It does. I used to think, boy, I was really sad that he had his disability, and his mother Jackie played basketball at Central.
Yes.
I played a lot of sports, and I always thought, boy, what he would be, what kind of an athlete he would be without his disability.
He's shooting in the high 40s.
And I don't think that way anymore because he's accomplished so much in his life and inspires people, and more than anything, when we go to those student teacher conferences and the teacher pulls us aside and just says, "I love your son."
Right.
He's the nicest student I've ever had. That makes up for any disability he has,
right.
And he's just an absolute wonderful kid.
Well, you and your wife should be. I know how proud you are of Nick, and Nick, you're in the process of changing other people's lives, just like Tim Tebow changes lives. You're changing lives here locally when people watch by example what you do, what you've accomplished, what you've overcome, the type person that you are. You are a local hero in this community and a hero in your school. And do you feel you have to feel that respect from the kids at Whitmer? I mean, that's got to be a palatable thing to you.
Yeah, it's kind of nice when they find out who I really am because they understand what I've been through and what I'm going through right now.
Do you find also, Nick, you can help youngsters that are in somewhat similar situations who maybe don't have your drive or don't have your confidence, because you've got confidence. Yes. You have confidence and drive, and nobody's going to stop you from doing anything. But I'm sure there are some youngsters that deal with issues and they don't have that. Do you see that you can maybe reach out and help them in some way?
Yeah, I think I can get out there somehow by helping them give them confidence to push through what they're going through.
And it's a great phrase, great phraseology, Nick. Even for anyone dealing with problems, is pushing through. I think people so very often face problems today, and it's just, well, I can't do it. And the minute that you tell yourself that mentally, you kind of take yourself out of the ball game per se, and you don't do that. You just say, hey, yeah, what do you want me to do? I'll do it, and we'll get it done. What I'd like to do, Nick, sometime is we'll work this out. Is we'll do a broadcast together. We'll do a game or get you involved in a broadcast. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be. It would be my honor to do that. We'll figure out a venue where we can do that.
I think maybe a Whitmer football game.
How cool would that be? Let's do that. He's already producing.
Yes,
I love it. I love that. We'll do something with Whitmer, maybe a Whitmer football game. That would be extremely cool. Well, listen, you two, on behalf of Buckeye Broadband, BCSN, It Matters at Toledo, I'm so honored to have you here, your family here, Nick, and I really mean that. You are a hero in our community, a hero to all the kids and teachers and coaches at Whitmer. and keep working hard, keep doing what you're doing, and we're going to do a broadcast together. Okay?
Alrighty.
All right, big guy.
Thank you
Thanks
so
so much for being with us. Tom Cole for It Matters at Toledo.